Eating disorders in schools are a very real issue that often teachers come across. There are many ways in which teachers can help students with eating disorders within the school. When talking with a student with an eating disorder, do speak with the counselor first about your concerns, listen carefully and be empathetic, communicate your care and concern, develop a compassionate conversation that is understanding and supportive, direct students to a counselor. Avoid a power struggle over food or eating. Recognize that eating disorders are about low self-esteem, fear, and other often unresolved issues. Provide support by referring students to community resources and reading materials. Support the treatment plan developed by healthcare professionals to help students recover. Seek collegial and administrative support for yourself, and most of all, have patience. When talking to a student with an eating disorder, do not be punitive or judgmental. Comment on the appearance of the student, either positively or negatively. Imply that eating disorders are about food, weight, and body size. Place barriers on the participation of the student in school sports or other activities. Argue or get into battle of wills. Blame the student, the family, or yourself for the disorder. Diagnose, moralize, develop treatment plans, or monitor the eating patterns of the student, or become the student's therapist. After you've begun the conversation with students with an eating disorder, you should begin to recognize different strategies to support these students. The first strategy is coping strategies that will help educators to feel more comfortable in their role and deal with issues that arise when working with students that have eating disorders, such as identifying people on the school staff or in the school district whom you can turn to for advice. Often school counselors can be helpful. You can also share the advice and insights you have gathered from colleagues and health professionals with other educators. This is important to ensure that no teacher faces the challenge of working with a student with an eating disorder alone. Meet regularly with the support of professionals such as school administrators, counselors, and school nurses to update progress and reaffirm the commitment of the team to addressing the educational needs of students with eating disorders. From there, you can move on to planning strategies to build a support network in the school, such as designating a key staff member as the school's case manager. This case manager will be responsible for communicating regularly with the medical treatment team of a student with an eating disorder, for passing on support strategies to school staff, and for staying in contact with the student's parents. They also recommend that you invite the student, his or her parents, and non-school professionals involved in the care of the student to be part of the school-based team responsible for planning the student's ongoing educational program. In severe or complex cases, the school may decide to establish an individual educational plan, also known as an IEP. Collaboration between educators and other service providers is necessary to achieve consistency and coordinated support for these students. Within the classroom, teachers can also provide classroom strategies. And the objective of classroom strategies for students with eating disorders is to experience a normal and supportive classroom setting. This means that teachers need to be sensitive to the cognitive and affective issues that underlie eating disorders in order to make adaptations to meet the needs of the student. Remembering that the student with an eating disorder is facing life-threatening conditions, and full recovery is the primary goal. Meeting with the student and parents to talk about expectations with respect to assignments and study routines, and encouraging the student to participate in the planning of the in-class program can help the student who is trying to recover. Avoid exposing the student to activities that may negatively draw attention to their weight, body image, or eating disorder. When undertaking food-related class discussions, normalize the information for everyone. Refrain from making comments to the student about appearance. These comments are likely to be misinterpreted. You can also help the student set realistic goals. Short-term academic achievement should be secondary to the long-term health concerns of the student. While the educational expectations of teachers may shift, behavioral ones should not. A student with an eating disorder should be able to meet the same standards of behavior as other students in the class. Acting out or other disruptive behaviors should not be tolerated and should be dealt with in the same manner you would treat any other student. You should also be flexible with test and class assignments. Recognize and understand that the student with an eating disorder may be experiencing the effects of starvation, which impairs the ability to concentrate on schoolwork. The student may no longer have mastery over material previously understood, so reteaching certain subject matters and making yourself available for after-school help is recommended. There are also strategies to support extended treatment programs, such as meeting with students in out-of-school treatment organizations, helping the students stay on top of their material and organized